Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Happy Election Day. Great to see you on our weekly Tuesday live here. We've got new funding to tell you about and some economic news. And of course, the big news that today is voting day. So yeah, good to see so many of you. Give a shout out in the comments where you're watching from, as always. And Brian, it's great that you're here as well. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Ryder. Excited to be here on
What are
Election
you
Day.
Yeah, what are you most excited about? Of course, we'll talk about Election Day briefly, but yeah, what's most on your mind today?
Well, first thing was that actually it's raining here in Northern California, so it rained harder today than it has almost all year, it seems like. So that was really exciting for me. But yeah, excited for Election Day. But then there's also the economic news. It's confusing for me because this last quarter, the third quarter, our GDP actually went back up. So it's like, there's all this doom and gloom, but it's also, it's not just a nosedive. It seems like, who knows what can happen. So there's just like a lot of uncertainty there. That's kind of on my mind. What about you?
Yeah, well, the economic news is interesting. I mean, I think a lot of you have seen me talk about this in some of the videos. And Brian, I know you're posting a video that's going out tomorrow. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, maybe we can. Okay, we can give a sneak peek for Brian's video that's going live tomorrow on YouTube. So let's mention that in a few minutes.
Yeah, of course.
And yes, give a shout out. Thanks. Good to see you, Mr. Brilliant, Dolores, Mussolini. Good to see you. You've been a long time supporter. Good to see so many of you. And shout out to Greenville. Yeah, and hit the like button too, so YouTube shows this to more people, because we're going to talk about our thoughts on the economy, as Brian just asked me. I'm avoiding the question. And some new grants, including our $5,000 grant, which is this month, and how to find your polling place. Now, if you care about that. No, and some other surprises at the end. We'll go live for 30 minutes today. So yeah, good afternoon. But yeah, Brian, yeah, it's interesting to see all of the trends in the macroeconomy, which our audience cares about, because so much of what the Fed decides to do with interest rates, it's really interesting how that little decision plays such a big impact on everything, on the how much all of you can borrow when we talk about funding every single week, what's available, and it permeates everyone, individuals, businesses. So I think we're both optimists. You're an optimist, right?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an optimist. So yeah, you think it's the glass is half full, and yeah, good things are coming. And we want to cover. We always want to cover the good news or things that can help you, including grants.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention real quick, because I just don't know, if everyone's aware about this, because we always say, interest rates are going up, the Fed's doing this, and like, what does that actually mean? And like, in terms for like loans in the SBA, just because of like the videos I've been doing and the research I've been doing. So like whatever the interest rates are that the Fed sets, the SBA adds on their amount onto whatever those loans are. So the SBA loans, they're now, because the interest rates have gone up 2 or 3%, now all of the SBA loans are going up 2 or 3%. It's just how it works. That's kind of like the trickle down of how it actually, affects like the borrowing and stuff like that. So just wanted to shout that out, just because it's kind of abstract sometimes hearing these, just like, oh, the interest rate 0.75. What does that really mean? Yeah, well, it means that if you want to get a loan, it's going to be more expensive. But if you get it now, it's going to be less expensive than if you get it in December, because that's also some of the other news we writer is December sounds like it might happen again.
Yes, 100%. Joyce, you put it well. It means if you don't have a fixed rate and you're doing a variable rate, like, yeah, you're going to be you're going to pay through the nose. Well said. Yeah, so we're watching the rates. We'll do a quick economic recap and then get into some of the grants. But yeah, drop in your questions here, because we're going to make 5-10 minutes at the end to answer your questions, or at least give you shout outs for all of you who've tuned in. And all of you know, because a lot of you are members, but if you ever want help from our team outside of the lives, our videos here. Two things. You could follow us on, we're posting more on Instagram and TikTok. That's number one. And not only myself, but Brian and Nikki, who was on last week, will be posting more on our other channels. So hey, feel free, if you love information, follow us there. And then you can always go to our website if you want personalized help, especially if you want to put together a game plan between now and the end of the year. So that's that. Yeah, how to find your polling place. Would love to hear. Let's put up a poll. How many of you are voting today or planning on voting? Just curious, how we don't need to get political here, but just curious how many of you are planning on voting. This website happens to be nass.org, but you can Google, find your polling place. I mean, I think most of you are aware of this, but yeah, it's going to be it's a big results coming in later today. So yeah, we'll put that poll, right, Brian?
Yep, up now.
So the big economic news, obviously, I talked about layoffs a couple days ago, and here's the, here's the Twitter news. Company was losing a lot of money per day. Sorry, my dog is squeaking her toy in the background. I don't know if the mic's picking that up or not. But yeah, so this is he was defending his decision. Been a lot of criticism for, obviously he's been in charge less than 2 weeks. The aggressive moves he's done. Meanwhile, we're expecting Meta to lay off thousands of folks this week. We don't know how big it's going to be. Maybe, I don't know if you have any guesses, Brian, but there's over 80,000 Facebook employees right now. So even if it's only 10% of the workforce is 8,000 jobs, and some of you may not care because a lot of those are tech jobs. So a lot of them can find jobs. I mean, it depends what role you're in, but yeah, Brian, what are your thoughts on the Facebook news here?
Yeah, it depends. I kind of wonder where the layoffs will be, because I know like Facebook and Google, I know they've tried to open up offices like all around like the country. Like this isn't just California on one hacker way. Like this is they have offices in all different like states and countries now. So I wonder where that's at. It's kind of crazy though if you think about it, because Facebook's kind of been one of those just companies that's been on top for, I mean, over a decade now. I don't even like it. It seems like for so long they've just been growing, and to see them finally come down, I think a lot of people are maybe kind of happy, because you kind of want to see, you can kind of enjoy seeing the whoever's on top, kind of falling there. Like there's that sentiment out there, but in some ways it's like this is an American company that is that drives our economy, so it isn't good signs to see them not doing well. No matter how much you maybe don't like Facebook,
Yeah. Well said. Yeah. Here's the 5-year stock price for Facebook. It was a peak of 376 in 2021, and now it is below $100. So just another data point that I heard earlier today is in 2019, Facebook had, I think, 30% the number of employees they have now. So maybe they doubled. Maybe it was 40,000 in 2019, and they've doubled headcount in 2 years, which is nuts.
So it looks like they maybe just ballooned a bit there because of the pandemic. Online social media, Netflix, all these kind of stay at home type apps, technology companies kind of doubled down because during the pandemic everyone was using them, and it seems like that's kind of going away now.
Absolutely. And cheap capital, the printing $6 trillion, a lot of those factors. Yeah. And by the way, just because Joyce asked about EIDL, as we do every week, we publish new grants. The link is in the description of this video. So there's a couple new grants, not too many, but there's a couple worth mentioning and of course our $5,000 grant that we are going to pick winners on 1 week from today, because next Tuesday is National Entrepreneurs Day. So we're giving out our 5K grant next Tuesday. So I'll tell you how to enter in a minute if you haven't. But a lot of people voted early. This is great. Yeah. It's Tavanda, Renell. Yeah, vote. So What's the poll say there, Brian?
Yeah, I just ended it. Let me give you the results. Well, so we got 80% yes and 20% no. So quite a few people
Yeah,
already got out there and voted. Yeah.
that's higher than the national average. We have a we have a smart
Yeah.
audience. You tune in every week, so you're ahead of most of most of the country. Um, so yeah, all these grants are on the sheet here. What do you guys think about the economic news? We'll have another poll that we'll put up in a minute. But here's the GDP change. I thought this was Brian. I know you pulled this one up. I think you thought this was really interesting here to see the change. Um, I mean, Q2 2020 was when the pandemic started. Huge dip, then huge spike back up to rebound. This is the percent change every quarter, and we saw 2 quarters of decline, which traditionally would mean a recession, right? By some definitions, and
Yeah.
then Q3 went up. Big question is
Yeah.
what's going to happen in Q4?
Yeah. And I don't know. Does that mean we're not technically in a recession by definition then? Because the economy is now not depressing and it's expanding. So, um, but who knows? The next one maybe it just goes back down down to -5% or something.
Yeah,
But
I think we'll continue to see because we expect interest rates to go up another 0.75, 0.5% in the December meeting. I think this will continue. The I don't want to say the pain, but to some
yeah,
extent, yeah, the pain will continue. Um, some EIDL questions. We are going to get to the EIDL news. There's no breaking news there. That might come later this week. But some of you are asking about repayments. Yeah, this is what I talked about in yesterday's video. In case you didn't see it, there's basically two. Brian, you already said this, but there's basically two options. Um, how high they'll either raise the interest rate 0.75% or 0.5% percentage point increase.
hmm
And yeah, it's you may not care about this that much, but it certainly will affect all of us.
I
Watch.
think something interesting from some of the research we've been doing this week is the fact that you and I, Ryder, were looking, but people's credit scores are actually on the upturn, like on the rise, like year over year, like Americans' credit scores are higher. Maybe that's just because people are more aware of what a credit score is and how to game the system to get better credit. And then also people seem to have more in savings now, especially because of all the free printed money, we did. Um, so it's interesting. I wonder how much people are actually feeling, that they're in a depression now or not, because of those factors. Their credit's good. We have a lot of savings. I wonder if that's in the position that people are in right now or not.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Would be curious what people think. Yeah, Brian, was that credit score trend basically this year? Credit scores have gone up. What was the
It,
time frame for that?
so yeah, it was from like the 90s, and it was every single year, like it has gone up, and then it's around, I think, 716 is the average, and it was 714 last year, and it was like 706 the year before. So the trend is year over year over the past like decade or so. Credit scores are just going up and up.
Oh, interesting. Um, yeah, I wonder how much of that is just like, yeah, things. Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
interesting.
it might just be education, because people are just so much more aware now because of YouTube and stuff like what we're doing, where you can just educate yourself on this stuff, and you don't have to be stuck with a bad credit score if take the right steps to improve it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got a credit video coming out later this week because I think there's a couple
Yeah,
things that all of us can control all the time, which is twofold. One, uh, your credit score has to do with your current spending, savings, paying off loans, and then two, what opportunities you go after. Right, you have direct control over what you're going to apply for and how you spend your time. It could be some grant options like our 5K grant. I'll show you in a second. Actually, I'll show you right now. If you haven't
yeah,
entered yet, go to the
yeah. We had
skip
someone
dash.
asking that.
Yeah, if you go to the skip dashboard, click add funding, put in Skip's November 5K grant, put in it's a grant, put a waiting decision 5K here, and then save. So take that in and click save and you're entered. We will be entered for next week's 5K loan. And as you know, when we pull winners, sometimes we pick extra winners as well as we've done in the past. So hopefully you can, feel free to share if you want to spread the love to other folks. You can also learn more helloskip.com/1K. We kept the same URL, and it describes the new grants we're giving out. Every month is going to be different amounts, always based on our YouTube revenue. When you sit through the ads before tuning in today, that we just give that back to you.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that it's 5,000 because, man, yeah, that can be such like just a lifeboat, if you just need to get through an EIDL payment, or if you're just trying to save up cash to start your business, like that really can move the needle. I love that we can give out the 1K grants to a bunch of people and a bunch of people can win. That's great. But I'm excited to see who wins that 5K and just, how that can really impact their life.
Absolutely. And, you can only enter once. We take out duplicates, so don't think that you can enter multiple times. Devonda asked this question, so just enter once. It's tied to your Skip account. A lot of other good stuff here. Those of you who've been following the evolution, maybe you're a member, maybe you're not a member, but there's a lot of free resources here. Like you can see our latest videos on the Skip dashboard. Yeah, you all know this, but yesterday's video was about EIDL being over. The SBA officially announced they're not processing anymore. But Brian, do you want to hint at what's to come, or should I hint at? We can't hint too much.
Sure. Yeah, we keep on hinting, but it's just we have some contacts at the SBA that we're so grateful and just thankful that, and sometimes they come on and they're able to share information with you guys. So we've been talking with them, and when we do have news about some changes that might be helpful for people, we're definitely really excited to be talking about it. But that's nothing that we're doing. We're just kind of the messenger, so we got to kind of all sit on our hands until until they tell us to go.
Yeah, it'll be related to repayments. Obviously a lot of I've said this from day one. There's probably going to be a lot of defaults. I don't know how many percent it's going to be. 4 million people got EIDL loans. So the EIDL wants to do everything they can to still help people, given also the economy now. So they've been working on some policy decisions that should help a good chunk of you. So that's all we can say today. Sorry, it's not as fulfilling as you'd like. But thanks to all the kind words, by the way. Yeah, it's we want to do everything we can to help out small businesses. And two good questions here that I noticed, Brian. I don't know if you saw any, but one was, how can I find the link to start the repay for EIDL? And we got the domain eidlpay.com. It redirects right to the government website, eidlpay.com. Oh, sorry, it goes to our blog post where we interpret the red tape, and then you can click to go directly to the SBA CAFS system, where you can see your balance, and then go to pay.gov to set up the recurring payments. And the SBA has also said they have an improvement for this that they may release in the next month or two. That's separate from the other news that we keep hinting at, where they will make the repayment system easier for folks. So eidlpay.com.
Yeah.
And
should we talk about a couple of grants? We have some that are due this week, and we have just a couple specific programs that I wanted to mention to people as well in case they fall into them.
Yeah, let me go over there. And so for those of you who want to follow along at home, it's again this Google Doc. We put a Google Doc together every week. In the future, by the way, a lot of these will be on the Skip dashboard. Like if you scroll down, you can often see the latest funding opportunities. Also, our latest app version is coming out in a week. So those of you in the Skip community will get first access there. Really excited. We haven't released a new app version in several months, even though a year ago we got up to number 80 on the App Store. So it's going to be big. Yeah, Brian, let's go through this. I want to talk. There were a couple ERC questions. If you can hold on I'm going to answer the ERC questions in a few minutes. Let's cover a couple of the grants first. So stay tuned.
Yeah. I just wanted to remind people. So for this week and then into next week, we got three grants. We have the Yelps Veterans Business Fund. If you're a business, a veteran-owned business, it's $10,000. Giving away 10 of them. Great, easy to apply for. One, you can get a lot of money there. And then the Women's of Color Grant Program. This one is for a entrepreneurial female of color that is a business owner that's also in that's also going to school. So you're starting your business early when you're in college, and there's some grants available there. They have 5 of them. So it seems a little niche, but maybe not so niche. If you know anyone that fits into that category, that's a great one. I'm sure your chances are good if you can put together a good app. And then we have our grants that we already just showed you. And then again, real quick with these two, they're kind of specific, and these are more accelerator programs. But I wanted to just mention them in case anybody falls in these categories. So if this Distill Ventures, they are giving away actually $500,000 for somebody that's trying to start a beverage brand, a beverage company. You have a spirit, you have some kind of a drink. They want to help you do that, and they want to get you off the ground with that. So yeah, you have to be. There's some more qualifications on the website, but it needs to be just. You need to have an underrepresented group. You need to have a beverage product that's near ready to go to market, or a good, some kind of process in there. So this is more of an accelerator program. There's a lot of money in the program, like in forms of grants, but then they're also really trying to help you out and like launch you and get you going. So yeah, I don't know if anyone falls into that, but just wanted to mention that. And then the next one as well is Apple. They have an entrepreneurial coding camp. So if you have an idea for an app, or then this could be great for you. So for entrepreneurs out there that are trying to get into the tech, this is great. Sorry, I got to grab some water real quick. But
oh yeah, you hydrate there, and the one on you'll get. You can see what's included here. But who's eligible if you're a Black founder, co-founder, or CEO, or Black, Hispanic, Latinx, Indigenous, or female developer, proficient in Swift or Objective-C, or you have an existing app on the App Store, or a functional beta build and test flight, or the equivalent. So these are the criteria that you must have. So it's technical. If you're technically minded and want to go down that path, it's interesting there. So we'll find these opportunities. There's always a lot of these accelerator programs. I think it's we saw in the last recession, a lot of people did two things. Two trends: started businesses. A lot of big companies started last recession, right? Cheaper capital. You think about things differently, and then a lot of people, went back to school, right? Or now online.
Yeah,
you can learn all the stuff online. So if you want to upskill, is that the word? Upskilling?
Yeah, sure.
The kids say. If you want to upskill and learn a new skill that'll support you in your business now. Of course, you're attending Skip School here every week, so you're it's the Skip School. Is that what we should call this? Skip School?
The Skip School, yeah. With this too, like if you you might not be like, this might be the first time you're hearing about something like this, like, oh, like, well, I'm not ready, I don't have something like this. Well, these types of things are ongoing, so you can plan and you can start building now for this type of thing. So it's just good to be aware of the opportunities that are out there. If you have an idea, start building towards it, and then find people that can help support you around that. People like us at Skip, and then all these other opportunities that we like sharing with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for all the I'm going to answer a few questions here. So put in a few more questions. We'll get to some. Brian, were there any other? Those are the main new opportunities, right?
Yep. Those are the new ones.
Yeah. Sounds good. There's more on the sheet. If you ever find any in your own lives, of course, we have a team that scours the internet, but if you think there's ones that we should be talking about that we aren't, you can always email tips@helloskip.com. All right, Katrina's got it. This is what we're called Skipversity.
Skipversity.
Skipperversity. I like that. And okay, let me talk about the ERC for a minute. A lot of you have applied. If you had any employees in 2020 or 2021, you're probably eligible. A lot of people have probably approached you over the past couple of years to apply, and we told some of our users about it. So if you had employees in 2020 or 2021, you may be eligible for up to $26,000 per employee. You can go to skiperc.com. We love getting domains here, skiperc.com. It goes to our partner site, and you can check eligibility. So again, probably some of you still wondering, you don't know about ERC. So check. Yeah. If there are any other specific ERC questions, drop it in the comments here. Yeah. There was a question about like improving credit. Brian, maybe let's talk about that for a little bit. Yeah.
Sure.
What people can do, like if they're not funding ready, they need to get their credit score up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, there's, maybe we can pull up, it'd be good to pull up the FICO score sheet, but I can do it off the top of my head though. So yeah, 35% of what brings or what makes up your credit is your payment history. So the biggest thing, it's not rocket science. There's no secret to it. You need to pay your bills on time. And I think one of the big things there is if you have a bill that's in collections, you need to take care of it. And a lot of the times those collections agencies, they paid pennies on the dollar for your debt and they're trying to collect it and make a profit. So you can negotiate with people comes to debt collections, and they're not going to maybe negotiate with you the first time they call you because they're really trying to get the full amount from you. But if you're in a case where it's been 6 months, a year, and your credit score is just totally tanking, you might be able to negotiate with people. So that's just one of like the biggest ways. And then there's a few other that we can get into. It's stuff like the thing for me that was the biggest thing for me was just paying down my credit cards, paying down the debt that I had. Because if you have too much debt, and that's easier said than done. It's not like that. That's just something you can just choose to do, because if you don't have the money, you can't do it. It's going to maybe there has to be some sacrifice there. You got to, sell something, that you have around the house. You got to have some kind of a sacrifice there. And that's going to take some time. But those are really the two biggest ones. And, if you have auto payments enrolled, you're not going to miss any of those payments, because a lot of times it could just be, forgetfulness. And then, paying down that stuff by whether it's having a side hustle, starting, your business as a side hustle to make extra money so that you can get in a place where you can maybe go full time with it. Those are the biggest ones for sure. There's other little tiny things you can do to, improve here and there. But if those two are not sorted, then, the rest isn't going to help as much.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of those things just take a little bit of time, but yeah, I forget. We had this number in the past, Brian, how many, like what percentage, I think we asked this poll number, what percentage of you have, are not funding ready, as in you need to improve your credit score first. Thanks, Mr. Brilliant Ryan, for the tip. Yeah, for the super chat.
Yeah, yes. Thanks for. Yeah, we should probably address that. You got the. We usually don't get these or ask for these, but thank you so much.
Is COVID EIDL current rate any possibility they may extend repayments again for a few more months? There is a possibility that they are doing something, and we will announce that perhaps later this week. The COVID EIDL current rate is 3.75%. So that's not going to change. The rate's not going to change. But they are working on something to help people with repayments. And so, yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll probably know in a few days. And I think it'll, again, for everyone, you're subscribed. If everyone who's subscribed, we'll break the news here, as we've done many times in the EIDL saga and other SBA programs. We'll break the news here, and we'll have someone on from the SBA as well, probably the day that the news breaks, because the SBA really wants to put out accurate information as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight this one too. That there are some grants that where you need to earn a minimum of $25,000, and that's the problem in applying. And that is true. A lot of loans do have. You said grants, but I assume you meant loans. I assume.
Yeah, to share a little bit more about the question, and
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, but yeah, we can
Yeah,
answer.
but there's a lot of grants that you don't need to have anything at all. The skip grant, you don't have to have any kind of income. And then as far as loans, there are loans. It just depends on the amount. If you're trying to get a couple $100,000, yeah, maybe you need to have some proof of income there. First. But yeah.
So there were a couple ERC follow-ups. Do you qualify if you're the only employee, etc.? Typically, they'll exclude the owners if you are the main owner. But I would just say go to that link just to see, because it's a quick eligibility form. They did it in a nice way where it's like a guided eligibility form. So skiperc.com, click check eligibility, and then it'll ask you. Right. If you put down one, it will ask you questions. You've seen that with grants as well. Yeah.
I'll share that in the chat. Skiperc.com.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you can click on it or not, but you can at least just copy and paste that into your browser there. Skiperc.com. But yeah, it's free to check. They're not going to charge you. Unless you actually do have money coming your way. They'll have a small fee there, but that's found money. That's money that you'll be getting for free. So, yeah,
Mhm.
really awesome resource there if you did have employees over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. So go check that out. Go check out the sheet on our grants. We're going to have more next week, and next week we are picking a 5K winter, 5K winner.
Winner. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Tiffany, you can edit your name on our dashboard. Yeah, you just need to edit your name on the dashboard. There's no specific name field that
yeah. If you're
yeah.
referring to, like, if you spelled it wrong, we have the system set up. And by the way, it'll all be automatic in a couple weeks. I'll share this quick preview now. So when we talk about a grant here, you'll be able to click the grant and add it automatically to your Skip dashboard. Really excited about that. So we talk about whether it's Verizon or corporate company A. You click the link, you add it to the dashboard. So Tiffany, as long as you put in 5K in it, we'll know based on the entry date that it's for November. But you should put in Skip November 5K grant for most everyone else. I think that's what you mean. Yeah, and yeah, Brooklyn on the grants as well as for the 25K minimum. We don't have a minimum for our grant, and we'll obviously we'd love to know which ones have those requirements. But a lot of the ones we find don't have those, and obviously we're always trying to find grants that are open to as many people as possible. Yeah, a lot of the ones we find are women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. Those are a lot of the ones, and we talked about last month for National Women's Small Business Month as well. But Brian, any words of encouragement for folks besides go vote before we leave people? Any final words, Brian?
Well, I think everyone in our community is, really great at encouraging each other. So yeah, I just thank you for those of you that keep showing up, that are encouraging everyone else, and it's really much appreciated. And yeah, thanks for joining us today. And make sure you join next week, because, like we mentioned, we're giving away $5,000. So
Yeah, at
don't have
least.
to have any proof of income there. You don't have to, there's no requirements other than you just got to sign up.
Absolutely. And yeah, we'll see you all then. But yeah, Brian, that's a great point on the Skip community. I know so many of you are share your information with others, and I know it goes a long way. So like, you learn about a certain program here, you share it with businesses it goes such a long way. And so yeah, you guys are awesome. Great to see so many familiar faces, and thanks, Brian, for joining.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, this was good. We covered a lot of ground today. Yeah, we'll see you all next week. Hope you all have a
Perfect.
great rest of the week. See you next time.